From November 25th, 2025, this year, to December 2nd, they're calling it a mass blackout. Not a march, not a protest, no science necessary. It's 1 week where we pull our dollars out of the system and see what happens when the economy feels the weight of our absence. Because we've marched, we've begged, most of us voted the right way. And now we're just going to sit back and test the one thing this country truly worships: money. See, this isn't the first time we've tried this, right? Economic boycotts have always been the heartbeat of real change, from Montgomery to Operation Breadbasket. When the buses lost money, segregation fell. When companies realized ignoring Black consumers meant losing profit, they started hiring, promoting, and pandering. History has already shown us that pulling our dollars hits harder than any speech, any march, any protest ever could. The timing isn't random. Black Friday is the biggest spending weekend in America. Billions get poured into corporations that barely reinvest in the communities that made them rich in the first place. So from November 25th to December 2nd, the goal is simple, okay? Buy nothing that doesn't circulate back into us. You hear me? Support small, support local, support Black. Because when we withhold our dollars, we remind this country that we're not just consumers. We are the economy. So yeah, the mass blackout isn't about canceling Christmas or skipping joy. It's about shifting power and realizing that every dollar that we spend is a vote for the world that we live in. They've ignored our voices. They've ignored our pain. Let's see if they ignore our absence. We're not asking anymore. We are shutting this shit down. Okay? No spending. If you do need something, make sure you go to farmers market, support small businesses. There's a ton of places that you can go to make sure you support the right people, not corporations. We are done. We're done.
If my ancestors, as slaves, can lead the greatest general strike in the history of this country, taking it to the ultra-rich and big corporations, we can do the same today. I'm calling on Black people, white people, brown people, Asian people, immigrants, gay people from around this country to stand up against tyranny and to send a clear message to the ultra-rich and big corporations. We are going to make them pay their fair share in taxes to fund our schools, to fund jobs, to fund healthcare, to fund transportation. Democracy will live on because of this generation. Are you ready to take it to the courts and to the streets?
We are, right, when we're seeing just the depth of the attacks that are happening, trying to roll back all those gains that were won through past struggle, that you were talking about. And they're not going to win. They're not going to do it. This crowd out here is showing why they're not going to do it.
It's our money. It's supposed to go to us. And so when we go on a general strike, we're basically saying we want our money to go back to us. We want our power to go back to us, not to these fascists.
I had to run there with ICE. Monday night, September 29th, I was at home, minding my own business, and I heard a knock at the door. When I looked through the window, I could see people in uniform. They were wearing the green Army fatigue uniforms. When I answered the door, they pushed their way in, and is there anybody in here with? And I told them no. They said, we want you to come with us. And I'm like, what for? What is this all about? And that's when they told me, they said, just shut up and come with us. At that point, I grabbed my backpack and I headed on out the door with them. When we got on the porch, they put my hands behind me. They put those zip ties, they put those on me. Once they got me outside, we came down the street to the corner. And when we got here, right on the corner, they had a lot of units, a lot of cars were out here. There was some press, members of the press out here. They had right about where that car is at.
Right where the blue car is, or the green-looking car.
Where that green-looking car is at. They had a budget renter truck. They put me up into the truck. When I got in the truck, there were already about maybe 10 people who were already in the truck. And then they started bringing more people. They had everybody in zip ties. We were in the truck for about, I'd say maybe 20, 25 minutes. Mm-hmm. They sealed the truck up and the truck pulled off. Next thing I know, they're unloading us and we were out at the the facility in Broadview.
I'm going to ask you about. I want to know what the conditions were like inside. But let's go back a little bit. When they knocked on your door,
Right.
and they told you to come out,
Right.
Did they tell you why?
No,
Did they ask you anything like who you are?
no. I tried to tell them.
Because, it is the season. Tear gas, I should say, not tar gas, but I'll probably they'll start doing that too. They tear gassed a city block in Chicago where a Halloween parade was about to take place. Because, of course, here's a little bit of video of that.
Chicago's northwest side expressing outrage tonight after federal agents once again deploy chemical agents against protesters. This time, it happened as parents and children were heading to a neighborhood Halloween parade.
Tear gas in Old Irving Park right now, our own neighborhood, scaring our children.
Chaos rocks a quiet northwest side neighborhood.
Started hearing some whistles, and when I looked out, I saw two fully uniformed Customs and Border Patrol agents tackling a guy to the ground, literally in my front yard right here.
That man had been working construction on a nearby home when federal agents chased him down and took him into custody in the 3700 block of North Kildare. His brother saying he's an undocumented immigrant who came to the U.S. with his family at 4 years of age.
Out of here, man.
Within moments, angry neighbors poured out of their homes, joining protesters blowing whistles who'd been on patrol looking for federal agents.
I don't understand how you could think this way, man. Scaring the children.
As angry residents shouted, the federal agents began lobbing tear gas around 9:50 Saturday morning. That's just minutes before the scheduled start of an annual Halloween parade organized by the Old Irving Park Association.
You had folks who were literally out on the street taking their kids to this Halloween parade when this happened. And I didn't see anybody with a weapon. I didn't see anybody make physical contact with these agents. I didn't see anybody do anything that justified, for example, taking my 7-year-old neighbor to the ground.
Kolb says his 70-year-old neighbor was also taken into custody.
Get out! Get out! Get out!
After about a half hour, the agents got in their cars and drove away. The Halloween party was held, but neighbors say many people stayed home. Kolb, who's a former Cook County prosecutor, retrieved the chemical canisters and gave them to a law firm that is preparing a lawsuit against the federal government.
I was pretty upset, to be honest with you. I am an attorney. I used to work with and in law enforcement, and watching this happen in my front yard was just not something that I ever thought was going to come to my front door. But, here we are.
Here we are. Welcome to Trump America, everybody, where you have no voting rights and no civil rights, but not to worry. You won't have to hear foreign languages or foreign accents in the Walmart or Home Depot because the masked secret police are tackling, arresting, and tear gassing anybody who isn't a white conservative, and also taking 4-year-olds to the ground in order to protect a local community from, let me check my notes, an undocumented immigrant with a good job who happened to have come to this country when he was 4. So, of course, that means he's a master criminal and he has to be protected. The community has to be protected from him.
Conflicting stories about what led to the arrest of a Lincoln Square woman who was an employee at WGN-TV. Take a look at what happened.
What's your name? What's your name?
Debbie Brockman, I work for WGN.
This is the woman at the center of the incident. She apparently saw ICE agents detaining a man and then somehow got involved. Some accounts say she did nothing ahead of her arrest. ICE says she threw objects at a Border Patrol car, so they detained her for assaulting a federal law enforcement officer. Several people recorded ICE arresting Brockman, among them attorney Josh Thomas, who captured this footage. He did not see what led up to Brockman's arrest, but talked to me today about what he did see.
What's your takeaway? What are your thoughts on what you saw?
I mean, it's terrifying. Again, using my own 3-year-old as an example, there are probably other kids in the community who are walking to school or watching this from their balconies and windows and are terrified to go outside.
Video shot by Thomas also shows a van racing from the scene with Brockman inside. Thomas said it hit another vehicle, as you saw there, that was blocking its path before speeding off. WGN tells us it is aware of the situation and is still gathering the facts.